Hi, everyone. This is Miranda with the Valuable Voices podcast. I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Robin. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you so much, Miranda.
Yay. I love connecting with different people that have, written books, have different programs all over the world, really. And it turns out she's right down the street, not right down the street, but close enough, right? Maybe an hour away. So super excited to connect and just hear your story. So let's dive right in, Robin. Again, I'd love to hear just kind of bits and pieces of your story that got you to where you are today. So wherever you want to start.
Wow, yeah, it's been a long journey, right? So, as far as my book, which is actually launching next week, I can't even believe I'm saying that. That started, and that's how you found me because I didn't
Yeah,
know.
very exciting.
So, yeah, that started, gosh, my daughter, my youngest child graduated in 2013. I was a military wife for 21 years, raised three children and homemaker, mostly homemaker, homeschooler, and driving, the minivan and cooking casseroles, carpooling kids. I mean, the whole thing, soccer mom, volunteering in church, do the whole thing for decades. So she's graduating high school and I'm thinking, wow, what's next for me? I was excited. I've been a mom for, since I was 18. When my husband and I went to our first home together, we already had a baby because he was away at training and I stayed back with my parents. So we've always had children, never an empty nest.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, so it was just a pretty exciting time to do some new things for me. I hadn't been to college. I mean, didn't have a college degree anyway. Had taken courses through the years, but never really a determined dream or goal.
Yeah.
So I'm in this season and I'm getting excited about it. And I really just got twisted up in trying to decide. I have had some interests, but it became very apparent to me that it was a very unhealthy, like I was bound up and I could not make this simple decision to try something, right?
Sure, yeah.
I was very fearful for some reason, but I was still really excited. I just thought, okay, I just need someone to talk to and get this worked out. So I have a friend who's also a clinical psychologist, which is quite the bonus.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I met with her in her office and just like I'm talking to you and I'm like, Diana, what the heck? Help me work this out. I didn't think it was anything necessarily as deep as it was, but I knew I needed just to at least have a sounding board. So I left that day. She dug in as good counselors and friends do, and she asked me. She just kept asking me questions. I'm like, I don't know. And I told her some of my interests, but there was something I couldn't push past. And so she said, well, okay, so if you woke up tomorrow and can do anything you wanted to do without, any limits on time or resources, money, what would it be? And it was just like crickets. I just, I don't know, even though I had these ideas of what I wanted to do, it was just something like had me bound, like I said before.
Yeah.
So my cord was coming out. So she started digging deeper. And even though I'd been a believer for, 25 years, maybe at that point, very happy, growing, in my faith and just tootling along. I realized as she started digging, I still had a lot of fears and a lot of unhealthy mindsets and habits that really kind of had me hidden, like, what am I supposed to do? Who did God create me to be, type of thing.
Yeah.
And so she dug in there and I didn't realize that so much of my years in my adolescence with my dad, who was an alcoholic, he had come back from his second tour of Vietnam, with what we know now would be PSD. So he suffered with that and depression. And so his way to cope was to drink. And so not just that, but the culture, the messages, like children will be seen, not heard, those types of things. I was the youngest of six. My parents were raised through, the Great Depression, Second World War, the whole, you get that probably. So yeah, just a very um, a very tough time in those years in my adolescence, from probably like 11, 12 to 18 years old. They're very formative. So it
Right.
was a very difficult time for my parents and me. And so anyway, but still I thought, okay, you've shown me all this stuff. This is great. I'm going to go and then knock it out. And I'm going to write a book about it. I get in the car and put down the visor to, I don't know what I was doing with my glasses or something. Right now they're dirty. And I looked at myself and said, I know what I'll do. I'll write a book. And I was all excited about it. And so I just imagined me writing about victim mindset and chameleon mindset and performance issues and fears and all these things. Like, we're going to duke it out, God. And I'm just going to, this is really exciting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it wasn't too long into it, I realized, because I'm still learning to write as I'm doing this. So a lot of my energies went toward just learning how to literally write this, to write the pages and such in the chapters. But it got really heavy because I realized there was just so much of myself that was still hidden.
Yeah.
And I really didn't understand how much being an adult child of an alcoholic still can affect you. There's so many habits we have that are so automatic and so habitual that we don't even realize that they're there, and that we react to things, because of that. And so I remember researching it. I think I actually came across it accidentally one day, and I didn't even know that there was even organizations out there that talk about this and have lists of characteristics. And I looked at this list, and I was in tears, because probably 20 of the 30 things it listed, I was like, check, check, check.
Right.
And it was so heavy, I just shoved the research away, and left it there and continued on my happy way. Just let's write this book, blah, 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 because this is the way it's supposed to go. I have these chapters all lined out. And I don't know, gosh, it was probably even a year or two later, about literally halfway through the book. I call it the transition of my book baby, that transition labor, where you're like, you're almost there, but it's the most painful part, but hang on. And basically God wanted the book to change, and I didn't want to. So I did, I dug that research back out, and I went back to some of my chapters and included a little bit more of that. So
Right.
it's not fully about adult children and alcoholics or anything like that, but I had to just face that was a lot of the underpinning, not just that, the culture, things that happen to us, things that we do in our life. We even bring on some of our own junk, right?
Right.
So just a lot of things to dig out. And so I finally listened and let the book change. And of course, as I'm writing this, there was also a lot of really huge family life things happening as well, with my mother and my daughter. And so it became so heavy, I actually had to shelve it for a short time and get therapy. I was in therapy for 6 months to just, get that support to not only be and do what I needed to do for my family, but to stay healthy through this process of writing, because I wrote about some very difficult things, and just about took me down. So
Sure. I can imagine that was very healing. Thank you for sharing all that. I mean, I can only imagine at age 18, getting married, having kids, kind of jumping right into life and motherhood. And like, like many women do, I can completely relate. We wake up one day like, who am I? What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do when I grow up? I love that you said you were excited when your daughter left, like, okay, now I get to focus on me. What do I get to do? Like, I brought these kids up, they're going off, and now what do I get to do? I love that, because I think a lot of women could be very depressed and like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And you had some of that, but I love that you got the help and you got the counseling and the friend. And I can imagine the healing going on with the writing of the book, right? Like, again, you maybe put your feelings and your emotions on hold for a time period and was like, okay, I'm going to face this. Right. And again, a lot of people do that. We're so busy, 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 and we don't stop to like even think. At least I do. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, the book was very cathartic. I actually, when I started it, I went into it, like I said, a little naively, thinking I would just be able to knock this out because you can learn to write. Anybody can, right? Um, but I didn't realize how much I went into it with a lot of anger still and a lot of things that were not healed.
Sure.
Some more forgiveness to do because forgiveness happens in layers,
Yeah.
as we get older. And so I actually had to go back in the book as well and soften things up a bit because I wanted to make sure that nobody in this book, I mean, there are no villains at all in this book. And I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
I wasn't making myself the victim because
Mhm.
I definitely had a victim mindset for many, many years.
Right.
And so it was very cathartic. And I just God had just taught me so many things through it. And just being able to see the age my dad was at the time when I was in high school, he was in his early 50s and
Right.
just fresh coming back off being emergency evacuated out of Vietnam when the North took over the South. He
Yeah.
literally was evacuated emergency out of there as a civilian. So I mean, just knowing all that, knowing now, researching that stress as an adult and understanding it and getting that new perspective of just him coming home fresh off of that and understanding why he would come home with the problems and the struggles that he had.
Right.
And I realized I'm a lot like him. We're really
Yeah.
similar. So it's very humbling and it's such a to have that empathy, to be able to grow that empathy,
Yeah.
be able to grieve. You have to grieve some of these things as well. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, tell us the name of your book and where we can find it.
it is Uncover Your Divine Design. Who did God create you to be? And you can find it at my publisher's website, which is www.crossrivermedia.com.
Okay.
Or you can also find it right now. It's in pre-order on Amazon.
Awesome.
Um, and it will be, like I said, it will launch Tuesday, the 23rd, next week, August 23rd. So yeah, that's
Crazy. So exciting. Congratulations. I mean, what a huge accomplishment. That's amazing. And you have a website too. Tell us about your website and what's going on over there.
well, yeah, my website, robinmelvin.com. I'm not as active on there as far as blogging as I would like. I really want to get back in the habit of blogging regularly. I have plenty of fodder now, right? A whole book worth of stuff to
Right.
talk about, but not that life doesn't give us stuff every day to put up
Yeah.
with. Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting to get on there more to connect with my readers. I have some information there right now for the pre-order.
Great.
I know my publishers, they offer, if anybody is interested, they can go to their website and they can actually read the first chapter free. So
Awesome.
decide whether they want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. And then I know you have a Facebook link, so we'll put that down there as well.
yes, thank you.
Wow. Well, Robin, thank you so much for sharing. I mean, again, I just love, I mean, your story is so relatable. Very, very many people can relate to that. Again, wake up one day like, okay, I'm a mom. Now what? My kids are gone. What do
Yeah.
I do? And I love that you took those steps. I mean, so many people want to write a book and they have not done that. And again, I just feel like there's probably so much healing in that and so much discovery of who you are. And
Yeah,
I
so
can only imagine. So thank you so much for being on. Just beautiful to connect with you. And yeah, I definitely want to read it. It's exciting.
thank you so much, Miranda.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Check her out. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.